if you're watching this, you're a car guy. You like this stuff. You're not gonna be like, oh, maybe I'll enjoy it. No, you're gonna enjoy it. When you have a higher bit encoder, especially for drifting, it allows the wheel to process the rotation a lot smoother and more precise.
Brandon Gardner in his BMW.
Brandon Gardner works his way through a clean run so far.
Switching chassis, but not hampering his style, initiating in.
I made a great, large financial investment, and it's not a drift car. It's actually a building. I own a company called Boundless Racing, and we build turnkey racing simulators.
At what point should you consider even moving up to a wheelbase that expensive?
Yeah, honestly, from the jump. So if you ever hear Denofa or LZ say, you know, they don't like motion because it's not emulating like that sideways G-force.
Do you think it'll ever become its own industry?
Kind of, but no. 99% of esports things fail. It's like, why aren't we as big as NASCAR? It's like they race 38 weekends out of the year.
Do you think we'll ever be able to get to that point? I don't think it's the same sport and has the same amount of respect as NASCAR, in America at least.
A lot of people compare Drift Masters to FD. I think FD does a way better job at bringing people out to events. There are a couple drivers this year who are gonna have OnlyFans cars. It was denied. I'll be honest and open. I've talked to Ryan Sage before, so I'll let my opinion rip. We just need to find ways to continue to.
I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era.
Welcome back to the Circle of Drift podcast. Thank you again for stopping in every single week for a brand new episode. The show is, of course, presented by SimHQ, where you can always save 5% off on their website for your next sim upgrade. And if you haven't seen already, they came out with a brand new SimHQ car pack with not only Adam's S15, but his Chaser and his C4 and plenty of other cars that they came out with. So check those out as well. And I want to let you guys know next weekend I will be in Connecticut for Grid Life at Lime Rock. So if you're going to be there, stop by and check out the booth. We'll be doing some podcasts and stuff like that. And if you're new here and have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, my name is Dawson, and we interview some of the most interesting personalities within the industry to help you within drifting. And all I ask is if you find any enjoyment or learn anything new out of these podcasts, that you, for one, hit the subscribe button so you never miss the next one, and two, smash the like button because it's the best way for me to know that I'm providing you with the best podcast possible. And for that, I will always listen to every critique that you guys have and do my best to improve the episodes each and every week. But in this episode, we are back at Formula Drift in St. Louis to talk to Brandon Gardner, a familiar face to the podcast, and hear some more interesting sides of the sim drifting industry. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. We have quite a familiar face to the channel, Mr. Brandon here.
Yes, sir.
Got quite a lot new stuff going on with your own thing now, not necessarily working for Sim Magic and all that. So tell me a little bit about the shop, what's going on, what you even do with it.
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Brandon Gardner. I own a company called Boundless Racing, and we sell sim parts, and we also build simulators. So professional, bespoke, turnkey racing simulators is the main thing I've been doing recently. Got a little shop space out in Metro Atlanta area. It's a little 1,100 square foot shop, but it's something better than the basement of my house. So
yeah, it's definitely better.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Probably a little more presentable too.
Yeah, no, yeah. When I have people like, oh, can I come by your showroom and check out your sims when I'm at events? I'm like, no.
You sure?
I'm like, you sure? The dogs may bark at you, you know?
You're like, what?
Yeah.
My mom's upstairs.
Yeah,
I don't know,
mom's upstairs. You know, dad may come down and be like, who the fuck are you? But that's about it.
So why'd you branch off then? Because you were working for Sim Magic last, right? Or I guess still kind of.
So yeah, I still work with you know, I sell parts. Before I was really just a creator, like a content creator, and I worked with a certain company who distributes Sim Magic products. I don't really want to name them for certain reasons, but I was working with them as sort of a creator. During the time actually that we had the last podcast, which I want to say was last June or something like that, like around then.
Damn, yeah, it was almost right at a year.
Yeah,
that's
right
crazy.
about a year. I was working actually with, no, I wasn't. I was previously working with Moza Racing, and I worked with them for a year and a half, and I was making the transition over. But yeah, no, I still work with SimMagic. I was actually a part of their creator program recently. I tested the new Alpha Evo Sport, which I think's fucking phenomenal for the price of it.
No
It's
shit.
great. Yeah, I still work with SimMagic people. I work with your boys over at SimHQ. They're all awesome over there. But yeah, I just work with, multiple different companies, trying to be, very as wide of a range as possible with the sim racing like product line, just because, a lot of companies have different things to offer. But I only work with top quality stuff. So like SimMagic's one of them. They make great stuff. SimHQ, great people over there. So yeah, for sure on that front.
Well, I'm obviously new to the whole SimMagic world myself.
Yeah, so you
I'm
got a
getting
pretty
really
baller sim too.
Bro, it's a night and day difference, let me tell you. But that's what we can discuss that later.
Yeah.
You mentioned the new Alpha.
Mhm.
So why did you say that one is so much better than the recent models or
Yeah.
say any other brand?
Yeah, so just for like context, I've tried the Asetek La Prima, the Moza R9, Moza R12, Fanatec CSL-DD, Alpha Mini, and then obviously the new Evo Sport. So to have a TLDR before I get like really technical, if you want to skip over this part, the Alpha Evo Sports hardware is a lot better and can process things a lot quicker and has more detail. So essentially what that means, in every single sim racing direct drive wheel, there's this thing called an encoder, and it has a certain amount of bits per revolution that processes your wheelbase. So for example, the Alpha Mini had an 18-bit encoder, and now the new Evo Sport has a 21-bit encoder. So it's a 3-bit difference, but in numbers wise, which is points per revolution, the Alpha Mini was 262,144,000, which is a lot, right? 262,000.
I'm trying to follow.
That's a lot, right?
A lot of numbers.
That's a lot of numbers. So 260,000 some on, right? And now the new one has a 21-bit. It's only 3 bits better, but is over 2 million points per revolution.
Holy
So
shit.
each revolution of the steering wheel, which is really important for sim racing, when the wheel's spinning, in order for it to be smooth, it processes it 2 million times. So even though, it may be a 3-bit difference, that's 1.8 million times, more, like adding 1.8 million times more points per revolution for it to process how the wheel is turning.
That's absurd.
Yeah. So to get real technical with it, like everyone says, the new stuff is better, and it's not just a marketing scheme. Like a lot of any company, when the new stuff comes out, they got to promote it, they got to sell it. Like that's business guy to business guy, everyone understands that. But genuinely, from like a point of just how things work on paper and in real life, like it works a lot better. So the new Evo Sport compared to the Alpha series is just way better. The Alpha Evo series way better than the Alpha series, just based off of that.
So to dumb it down then, just a
Yeah.
little bit for
Got
for
kinda
all of
technical
us, I
there.
got you guys.
Yeah.
But what is that physically changing in the feel of the wheel? Because
Yeah.
like for one, if anyone remembers the reel that we made about it was about the Moza, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The oscillation
Oscillation.
or whatever in
Yeah.
the wheel. I assume that much, I guess, information dilutes that feeling too, along
Exactly.
with some other stuff,
Yeah.
maybe.
So in layman's terms, I guess we could say, when you have a higher bit encoder, especially for drifting, it allows the wheel to process the rotation a lot smoother and more precise. So you not only get something really smooth, whereas, when you rotate the wheel, it's nice and smooth and buttery, but you also get the feedback through it. So you get the vibrations or the road feel or anything you need a lot smoother and a lot more precise and refined than something with less bits.
So how much more does it cost then compared to the previous models?
Well, the Evo Sport's cheaper than the Mini these
What the
days. Yeah.
How does that work?
Geniuses. I don't know, but yeah, I'm happy with what they've been, what they've done, because working with previous companies, like any previous company, marketing's marketing. Usually things are better when they release something new, but like I could confidently say, like Evo Sport and the Evo series is just like, if you don't have an Alpha right now and you want to get into like the SimMagic realm, definitely don't go for the Alpha. If you want to save the extra buck, just go for the for the Evo series. It's definitely
No
worth
shit.
it. Yep.
Look, we got to stop the podcast for a second because I know we're going through a lot of tires out there. And given you're here supporting the podcast, they want to help you guys out and give you 20% off on your tires moving forward with code CircleOfDrift2. And on top of that, they're actually doing free shipping, which is just added to your cart. So if you're going to need tires soon, or maybe you just never tried the Zek Novas, or you just kind of want to stack up, I suggest you do that now while you can get them at a better price. But other than tires, let's get on back into the podcast. Okay, so then at what point in your sim career or whatever should you consider even moving up to a wheelbase that expensive or that, quality? Should it be from the jump?
I mean, yeah, honestly, from the jump, I would say so. Like, we're all adults here, and I would say just save up a couple paychecks and get something nice at first. That's genuinely my best piece of advice. Like, don't buy a Logitech at first. Like, if you're watching this, you're a fucking nerd, all right? You're a nerd. You're a car guy. You like this stuff. You're gonna enjoy the sim stuff. You're not gonna be like, oh, maybe I'll enjoy it. No, you're gonna enjoy it. So I'd say, save up a couple paychecks, go buy something nice. You could get, from like my site, from Boundless Racing, you could get, and it's the same price as SimHQ, just to put that out there. It's an Evo Sport. Okay, SimMagic Evo Sport 9-Nm wheelbase, the GTS wheel, and then a set of P500 pedals under $1,000. It's like
No way.
$950. Yeah, and compare that to like a G920, which is brand new. It's $350. But I think if you save a couple paychecks and you spend that slight sub 1,000 mark, it's gonna last you years. You're gonna like it. You're not gonna regret it. The G920, it's like it works, but it's just
so outdated
yeah.
at this point.
I mean, you had. What did you think of your G29 compared to like your Alpha and your SimMagic stuff now?
Now that I have SimMagic, okay, so just to preface, I back then sucked very badly at Sims and was kind of standoffish to them. Didn't really want them. People peer pressured me into just get a Logitech just to get into it. Drive through the suck. I get that part.
Yeah.
Now that I'm at the SimMagic level, I will absolutely 100% forget the fact of SimHQ. 100% stand by. Go ahead and bite the bullet and just
Yeah.
get the better sim.
Like-
it's so realistic. It's
Genuinely,
incredible.
like whether it be like the pedals, the shifter's the biggest thing. The friggin' Logitech shifter feels like a hot dog in a hallway. It feels like nothing. You can't feel anything, right? And so it's just like having that just like feeling that something's there. Like, sure, you don't get the G-forces, but having an accurate feeling in your hands and your feet is definitely the next step up and will, level things up completely. And it's just worth it. Just save a couple paychecks, maybe a few paychecks. But in my opinion, if you want to better your driving and you just want to have, whether it's better your driving or having fun with your friends, like, get something nice. Don't cheap out, for sure.
Well, on the other side of that, what is in today's era, the fuck you money sim? What's
fuck
the
you
big
money
baller?
sim? Okay, so just preface, I build sims for a living. So I've been very blessed to be able to build some pretty big baller stuff. So the biggest baller thing now, like chassis-wise, very durable chassis, 160 millimeter advanced sim racing ASR Pro. I think you have that chassis, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that. Then I work with a company called Acetec. So Acetec Invicta wheelbase, 27 Newton meter pedals. There's these things called active pedals. So they'll vibrate at your feet, and it's just like, in layman's terms, kind of like a direct drive force feedback motor, but in your feet. So you get like ABS feel. When you push the clutch in, it could feel like your rear end's exploding. It feels pretty cool. Shifter, company called BDH that we work with out of the UK. Beautiful piece of machinery. It's like a long tube. Been able to use that. It's $1,400, but it's freaking
Oh!
Yeah, it's baller.
What makes it $1,400?
It's handcrafted in the UK, so it's like gearing in it. If you look at it, I'm sure I'll send you a picture, but it's like a long tube with individual gears in it, and you can change it from H pattern to sequential. It's really cool, really, really sick. Seat, go with like a race seat, like saw belt, OMP, Recaro, anything like that. That's the baller way to go. And then monitors, there's 2 routes. My favorite, LG Ultra Gear 45-inch OLED monitors, and have 3 of them. So like the width-wise, 8 feet wide, right?
Oh, what does
gets-
that cost in monitors?
It depends. So like sometimes like Best Buy or Amazon will have a good deal and you can get them for like 45, but like if we're going off MSRP, it's $6 grand in monitors.
What the fuck,
Yeah.
dude?
And then you got to get a good PC. You got to get like the 5090 or 5080 PC. 5080 can hold the those monitors, so you could save a few bucks on that. So like a $3,500 PC. But if you go with the 5090, it's gonna be $6 grand. Then we got to get motion, right? We got to get motion. We're working with a company, they're out of Canada, called Vero Motion. They have a 6 degree of freedom motion kit. So for the motion side of things, I know some people don't like it for drifting. I don't really like it for drifting unless you have 6 degrees of motion. So
I was about to say, what does that mean? What is the average of degrees of motion?
So it's called degrees of freedom, which in short term, it's called DOF, right? And there's 6 of them. There's roll, pitch, and heave. And that's the normal type. So in any of, if you see a simulator with like 4 black boxes, I guess, and they're on the corners of the sim, that is what we call a 3 degree of freedom system. So it has roll, pitch, and heave when it comes to, how it reacts. And then there are the other 3. There's yaw, surge, and sway. And that yaw, surge, and sway. So surge is like going forward and backwards. So that forward and backward G forces. And then surge and surge. What was it? No. Got flustered there. My bad. Yaw and the other one. I'll say that. I just brain farted there. But those
Pitch? Is it pitch? Yaw and
So roll, pitch, heave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sway, yaw, and surge. So sway and yaw. My bad. So
That's a
sway and
lot.
yaw. Yeah, it's a lot. Even I get a little confused.
I see.
A lot of them ends in A's. So you get a little, the brain cells need to brain cell a little better. But what that gives you to get over that brain fart is it gives you that side G-force feeling like you get in a drift car. So if you ever hear, Denofa or LZ say, they don't like motion, it's because they don't get that sensation, like that sideways like pitch in their simulator, because it's not emulating like that sideways G-force. So company we work with called Vero Motion, they have a 6 degree of freedom, which has all 6, and it has 20 degrees of sideways tilt. So not sideways tilt this way, but like when it turns. So you could feel that, that G-force, that push over when you're going, right? So again, we're talking about a baller sim. That system itself is nearly $20,000 and takes some, assembly and that sort of thing. Yeah, it does. And it takes a certain person to get that. But like having that, the yaw and the sway in a sim will help like that drifting, I guess, that disconnect that people have. Like
I agree. I'm the same way, because I tried it at SimHQ, their big motion sim, and it honestly made it worse for me, because it seemed like the twitchiness of the motion was so delayed that it would honestly throw me off of the wheel. Like it would twitch me off the wheel and mess up my line and da-da-da-da.
And that's a D-box sim, that 3 degree of freedom. And because it feels thrown off, it only goes up, down, and then side to side. It doesn't have that, that X-axis that you need to like, feel the turning and the sideways G-force. I guess that butt feeling that people want, So it's cool that they're developing that. And, I've been able to try that rig, and it works. Like, it feels like you're in a car. It just takes a certain someone, drop that type of dollar onto a sim. And I'm sure, how fast the industry is just developing. 5-10 years from now, it'll be a lot more accessible. And maybe they'll just have, yaw and sway sims rather than having all 6 and that sort of thing.
That would be cool. So that was my next question, was to see if there was actually, if you do think the industry is moving fast enough for it to come down in price ever.
Yeah.
Or if it's just
I mean,
going to be that
it's like
expensive?
any industry, like as people, as it grows and, like this F1 movie is helping the sim industry greatly, like to put it into like get very nitty gritty, like it's a compound growth of 13% year over year, like the past 5 years. So it's growing quickly, right?
I mean, I've noticed it myself,
Yeah.
just as a viewer on the outside of drifting, looking at all the products that just keep coming out and out and out.
Yeah.
And just seeing all the capabilities people are having with them.
Yeah.
I mean, all these drivers are nuts.
Yeah, and as like more people like get invested into sim racing and more of like these top dogs, because like the top dogs in the industry right now, a couple of them, it's like they didn't come from sim racing or cars. They came from a business background and they're investors. So they have millions and millions of dollars they can dump into sim racing. And as that, I mean, it's crazy, but as that starts happening and we get more investment and more development into things, I hope 5 to 10 years from now, like, motion will be cheaper. We're seeing it now. Direct drive wheelbases are cheaper with SimMagic stuff. And it keeps developing into something where it's even more accessible. It gets even more realistic. I mean, now it's realistic, but imagine in like 5, 10 years from now, it's going to be even more crazy. Yeah.
So what was the last setup that you had to build for someone? Like what did it consist of?
So I actually deliver it when I get back on Sunday. So I just finished building it. So we have like a good, better, best model for our turnkeys, which a turnkey simulator is something that's complete. So it's fully built, comes with your monitors, your PC, all that stuff. So this was our right in the middle, our fusion model, which is a fusion between budget and performance. So it's a triple screen setup, triple 32-inch monitors. It has that cool BDH shifter. It has a XL NRG bucket. It uses a 120 millimeter ASR4 chassis, which is right below like your chassis, the top line ASR Pro. Some Acetec stuff. Uses the active pedal. I know I'm naming a lot of very expensive products, but the reason being is because this client, he races cars. So he has an SCCA spec E36, and then his son has a 2017 BRZ, and they take to the track. You got a nice little two-hauler, a nice Duramax. They take it around the country.
That's an expensive program as is.
Yeah.
They got the money to spend.
So they wanted something where, even if it rains or for some reason they can't make it out to the track that weekend, they could have something that feels almost one-to-one without, spending the 5, 10, 15, 20 grand on motion or a crazy monitor setup or whatever, to where they can, get seat time, understand, their braking points, their turn-in points, even the setup of their car. We're building their cars one-to-one in Assetto, which is pretty cool, that we're giving them in the delivery. But yeah,
is that a service you offer?
No, just for turnkey stuff. I mean, if people reach out to me, I don't build them personally. I just have, I have people that help me out and do that sort of thing. But if anyone's watching and they want like their car like one-to-one, I have plenty of people that you could DM me and I can point you in the right direction. Those guys take hours and hours to build their car. Like I know some people who spend 100+ hours on their virtual like race car, which is nuts.
That is just stupid. It's cool to see. I'm seeing a bunch of the people try and mimic Adam's new car, the BMW.
Yeah, the VDC mobile.
Fucking big block in there and everything. And everybody's just like slapping a V8 in it. And it's not really a big block. I get it, but
yeah,
it'll be cool to see some stuff like that.
I mean, yeah, it's cool to see like, whether people want to like take their own mind, their own creations, like put in the game or like real life stuff. It's always cool to see like the innovation in the like 3D modeling using like Blender or 3ds Max or that sort of thing. They put a lot of time into it. A lot of them don't get like the dollar amount it would take to put into it out of it. And it's just, it's all about the passion, and it's cool to see for sure.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Now, look, let's take a break from the podcast really quick because we can't always have these nice, comfy chairs at events when we're doing podcasts. And I have to think about not only keeping myself, but the guests comfortable as well while we're sitting down for such long episodes. Nothing has kept the guest and I comfortable enough other than the Viper chairs. They use an extremely thick cushion so my ass doesn't get sore after 5 minutes. And I don't always have the best posture, so the placement of the backrest helps me with a lot of my lower back pain. And even when we have the XLR cables for these microphones just laying on the ground, I've never had an issue with the casters rolling over them or tipping me out of the chair. But if you guys have been considering getting your own, Viper's hooked you guys up with $50 off on your next Viper chair. So I'll leave the link in the description for that. And without further ado, let's just get back into the podcast.
Well, what do you think about the competitions and stuff for sim? Like, and all that growing, and do you think it'll ever become its own industry, maybe, or its own sport?
No.
I guess it kind of is.
Kind of, but no. I mean, we look at, I know negative from the sim guy, but it'll always be there and it'll always be growing. I think to the level it could get to is how like esports is now. So like sim racing esports, they have real life stuff. They have, different partners that, they have big venues and they do like sim racing stuff. It just, there's only a limit we could go, and the real life stuff, unless like the government's like, no more racing ever, then, the sim racing stuff could come in. But the real life stuff will always be there. But there'll always be, sim racing leagues, for drifting with VDC. They got a Discord, they got a link tree you could join. And there's plenty of people there who host like pop-up comps, or there's like grassroots style of cars, so like the 300 to 500 horsepower style of things, where you could just, tame your nerves, I guess, and understand like that competition aspect in the sim and that sort of thing. I think there's an industry for it, but it's never going to be like gigantic to the level that like, some people try to portray it as, which is unfortunate, but I'm just being realistic. So.
Well, I appreciate it, because most people are saying, I think it'll be great and it'll be big and da-da-da-da. It could even be bigger than real drifting. And
I don't.
Which I could possibly see that with just the fact of the way gaming is so big.
Yeah.
Like prize pots are so much bigger for gaming, and like maybe that'll do it, but other than that,
it just sucks, because in the gaming space, it's just finding that balance. Like I've done plenty of research into esports, and like 99% of esports things fail. Like we saw.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, we saw a very drastic example. We saw FaZe Clan. If you know what FaZe Clan is. If anyone watching, you know what FaZe Clan is. They were a competitive Call of Duty team and content creators. They got bought by private equity, and they went public in 2019. And then by 2023, I want to say, or maybe it was 2017. It was like 5-7 years they were a public company, and it just fell on their face, because it's like, it takes the right person to grow gaming, because like not any I mean, it's like that for anyone who buys a business and tries to grow it. It's like you can't just buy it in hopes it grows, it's like it takes a certain someone with a certain amount of knowledge and understanding the lingo and the technical aspects and all that for esports to grow. I mean, if you just look up FaZe Clan esports public failure, then you'll see it. I mean, they literally got listed as a public company. You could buy shares of FaZe Clan, and it literally went to zero, and they reset it. And the original owner of FaZe Clan bought back FaZe Clan, and then now they're just a bunch of content creators in a big house, and they make cool content just like how it was 15 years ago. So I think, to get back to the drifting side and the racing side, I think it will continue to grow. But so far, everything that's had, millions of dollars of investments into it have flopped on their face, which sucks, because it takes a certain person. You can't just throw money at it and hopes it works. Yeah.
Side though, just seeing, like you mentioned, the money being dumped into it, but it actually seems to be more consumable than all those other games. I mean, just to be real, video games are kind of nerdy in a sense to the average person, so you can't get the average person into it. But given that it's drifting, that kind of combines, does it not? And
I mean, to put in
adds a more
perspective-
realistic aspect to where it's not just a video game.
Yeah, I mean, we're all nerds as is for being into drifting. I mean, we're
That's very
doing
true.
we're doing the exact opposite thing that a car's supposed to do around a corner. We're literally like trying to break the physics of how the cars were designed to do it. I mean, from like a drifting aspect, like, yeah, if you're a drifter and you want to get into sim drifting, like night and day, like, yeah, you should save up those paychecks and get into it. But I'm just talking more of like growing it like in a huge, like a humongous way, like even like drifting as a sport, like, you know, right now, I know some people, you know, there's a whole nother hour to talk about, like, you know, drifting as a sport, growing that. I have my own opinions on it. Like, you know, we're an 8-round series and we compare ourselves to like NASCAR in the US. Like, why aren't we as big as NASCAR? It's like they race 38 weekends out of the year and we race 8, you know? The amount of TV time, sponsorship time, everything. It's like they're like miles ahead of us, you know? So I think like as an industry, like sim racing, sim drifting will continue to grow. And I think, you know, with things like the F1 movie, now the new Sung Kang movie, the drifting movie that's coming out, that's going to grow it even more. But I'm thinking, you know, when you ask that question, I'm thinking like mass adoption, like everyone, like say like going to an F1 race, instead they went and filled up like a football arena, like a American football arena for like sim racing. Like there's 32 people in the center and that sort of thing. I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah. I mean, they do it for like League of Legends. They fill, you know, whatever arena, like in Texas, the Cowboys arena, and everyone's like chanting and they're playing League of Legends. Yeah. I just, you know, that type of gaming is way more accessible than sim racing, just because all you need is, you know, you can even do it on your phone, but you need a PC, keyboard, mouse, and, you know, whatever monitor your mom has in the attic. You know, that's all you need.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, damn. Okay. Well, then you mentioned FD, or I guess, yeah, FD being compared to NASCAR.
Yeah.
So, obviously, we are very small. We're very new, nowhere near compared to NASCAR. But that is what a lot of people say. Do you think we'll ever be able to get to that point as drifters? I don't think it's the same sport and has the same amount of respect as NASCAR, in America at least.
I'll be honest and open. I've talked to Ryan Sage before, so I'll let my opinion rip. We just need to find ways to continue to grow it in unique ways, right? Like as I mentioned before, you know, NASCAR, they have billions and billions of dollars that move through that sport because they have, you know, tracks that advertise them. Like Daytona is known for NASCAR, you know, huge track, huge venue. They race 36, 38 times a year. We race 8 times a year. And, you know, I think it's just how we can mainstream the sport. The big thing, like, I don't hate people who say this, but it's like, we need to keep drifting like private. And it's our own little thing. Like it going mainstream is lame. I think that's stupid. Like Dion Dawkins with Justin Pollock, how he's getting into drifting. JTP built him a Mustang. Like that's cool. Joey Logano showing up in Jersey, like popping in the booth. That's also cool. Like bringing Joey Logano fans into drifting. I think drifting will continue to grow. And, you know, as a lover of the sport and someone who's been in it and like liked it and been watching it since I was 10 for like, you know, 11 years. Like I've loved drifting, consumed it. It's my favorite motorsport. It's like, we need more money in the sport. We need to welcome people with money, not push them out, like bring them in, because, you know, as much as we want to be like, you know, money, XYZ, whatever opinion you have on it, it's like, that's what's going to grow it. Like I'd love for drift, like FD to be a 12-round series, or like even there's an international series where like we go through Europe, Japan, the US, and it's like we have different cars and different programs.
Think that's even possible?
I think that'd be like years from now, but it really just comes down to money and not being scared to be creative and taking risks in growing the sport. Like the last thing I want, and you know, the last thing I want is for people to be stuck in their ways and for drifting to become stagnant. Like that's what's gonna kill the sport. Because we saw it, you know, import drag racing, early 2000s, pretty dead now, you know? Oval track racing, early 2000s, and then the Jimmy Johnson era kind of killed it a little bit. I think circle track and NASCAR is coming back more now, but it kind of got dead because it got stagnant. So if we can find ways to continue to grow the sport from a marketing aspect, you know, doing different things and being welcoming to new ideas. I think that's going to be the biggest thing, because I'd love for drifting to be, you know, the same popularity as even like, you know, NASCAR or IndyCar or like Supercross or something like that. Like I feel like drifting's there. Like you say drifting, people understand what that is now. But for like, you know, for it to be one of the more popular motorsports in America, it's just going to take some innovation and not being afraid to take some risks and, you know, put some investments into it and not be stagnant. That's the big thing.
What do you think needs to change in order for that to happen, though? Like, what about FD? Is it the tracks, or is it just the amount of events and stuff like that you mentioned?
So I think FD, like a lot of people, I'll bring this up, like a lot of people compare Drift Masters to FD. I think FD does a way better job at bringing people out to events. Drift Masters does a great job at showing that, like from a production standpoint, that like Drift Masters seems like a huge event. Like Mondello, like 8,000 or 10,000 people show up like for the weekend, which isn't a ton for an event. But it seems like there's like 25,000 people.
Way bigger.
Way big. No, it's a small event. There's like not a lot of vendors there or stuff like that. And learning this firsthand from people that have been there. So big thing, a lot of people say this for FD. Like I know Red Bull has a lot of push for Drift Masters, but if we could get that production level up in FD for the live stream, my goodness, like that's where things will be great, right? I think that will take things to a new level. You know, I think I don't know where they're at or what, you know, Ryan Sage will say, because surprisingly he watches everything about FD. Like the dude loves it, and that's like I could tip my hat to him. Like he is always like taking in things from FD. But, you know, like if we had like what Adam's team does for like the World Tour, like that highlight video, if we'd have like a sick highlight video, because I see, you know, camera guys out, if we had like a small team who'd like film important stuff or talk to people throughout the weekend, I think that'd be cool to have like a high production video just for more people to see. At the end of the day, to like grow anything, it's just marketing. Marketing is all that matters. Marketing and money. That's it. So it's just like if we can level that up, and like, you know, tracks, there's the whole thing, you know, I get it now, like building bleachers and, you know, tracks being okay with you driving on that track. There's not many tracks in America that could do that. And, you know, we just lost one in Irwindale. It was the track, the House of Drift in America. It is now gone. So, yeah, I don't like it. Like everyone shits on St. Louis. I think a lot of people just bitch about St. Louis. Like, I don't hate this track. I think it's hot and I'm sticky and miserable right now.
No, that one's true.
Yeah, but it's like,
if you ask the drivers though, they enjoy this track.
oh,
for the most part.
Well, I think
They
from a
enjoy the
spectator,
technical aspect of it.
some of them do. A lot of them hate the track with a burning passion
What?
and would like throw it out. Yeah, but like I think, you know, not everything can be perfect, and if we need to come here, then we come here. But you know, I would say the simple thing: build the series to like a 10 or 12 round series, but that takes, you know, millions and millions of more dollars from like the drivers and, you know, finding venues and et cetera, and that's just difficult. You know, I think 60% of the pro teams, like their budgets are stretched this year for sure. And it's just like, it's tough out here. And at the end of the day, again, I don't mean to beat it with a dead horse, but like money will push things forward and make things better. And that's like, I wish there was a better answer, but it's just finding people who are more open to that is all it comes down to.
Who do you think the next one is? The next big company to invest?
I don't know. Well, I could tell a
Red
story.
Bull's dipping their toe.
I hope so. Dude, Red Bull's back in NASCAR. Come on down
They're
to
dipping
FD.
their toe.
You know, come on down
on.
to FD. No, I mean, you know, like a big company, like a data company or something like that, like an NTT data, like an IndyCar or something like that would be big, or I don't know, sell out to an oil company or something. Like we just need, if we get an injection of, millions of dollars to make things, production level up, run a production up, marketing up to do more pushing of things, having more influencers out, that sort of thing, that'll just grow the sport more. Like 90% of people don't like big influencers out at their, whatever, because a lot of them are pretentious. But, if we could have the big guys, like whatever big influencer who likes cars is the important thing, out at events and promoting what's going on, then their audience gets interested and they could get hooked too. So there's that as well. There's a lot of ways, and we'll just see. It, of course, has to be a ethically good company. There's talks of OnlyFans coming into FD with a couple
Who the
drivers.
hell's saying that?
No, there are a couple drivers this year who are gonna have OnlyFans cars. It never came to fruition. It was denied. I mean,
Oh my
they're
God,
trying to.
that's
but,
funny as
yeah,
shit.
To play devil's advocate, I mean, OnlyFans is trying to pull away, like from a marketing perspective, of the naughty stuff, and they're trying to have a more safe for work stuff. They have like cooking shows now and stuff like that. I was even approached in January, I'll let this out there, like to have a virtual like OnlyFans car and like make content and have an OnlyFans, not do anything weird, but to have like drifting tips and stuff like that. Yeah,
That's crazy.
It's weird. It's not weird, but it's just, a company who has a bad rap trying to not have a bad rap anymore. But
yeah, they're trying to backpedal now.
yeah, but they were denied from FD because of, you don't want people looking at that stuff and like getting into that, and it's the ship has far sailed for that company,
Oh, it's gone.
unfortunately.
Yeah,
like
you need a
have
new
to
name, you need to do
completely
everything.
have to do completely new everything in order to bounce back from that. But that was one. It was going to be like a couple drivers. They were looking to put some money into it, and it could have been more money into the sport. Some drivers, could have had better programs, but it was denied, and it is what it is. But I'm sure there's a reason to that. I'm a big proponent of, everything happens for a reason, and there will be other companies. And as, time goes on, as drifting becomes more accepted in the motorsports world, like it's an actual sport, it's an actual thing you can do, then there'll be the big companies who jump in, So we'll see.
Well, I hope to see it, not from them. That's crazy. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, crazy.
I want to know who the drivers were.
Tell you off camera. I'll let you know.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, as far as you go, other than the FD things, is there anything new coming from you or the business or anything you need to announce?
I mean, if anyone wants a turnkey simulator, hit me up. I'm always open.
What are the package prices on that, by the way?
Yeah, so it's going to, just to preface, it's going to seem like a lot, because it is.
Because
Because
it's a quality setup. Like,
quality
this is for
setup.
someone that actually wants to learn,
Yeah.
and, like, keep it going and driving.
it's like built by myself and my team, and, we're assembling it, we're testing it, making sure everything works. Like, if anything's broken and we get it and it's broken, we'll fix it. And then it comes with a PC and monitor. So our bottom setup, hi Carson, our bottom setup starts at, our bottom setup starts at about 5. Like, that's where it starts. It's like the entry-level SimMagic equipment with a 49-inch widescreen, good PC. It's built, and that's like delivered and shipped to your house, and I'll teach you how to use it and that sort of thing. You could add stuff on, take away stuff if you want to go triple screens, that sort of thing. Our middle of the ground starts at about 12, and that's like standard 32-inch triple screen, 50 series graphics card, mid-range products, so like an Alpha Evo Sport from SimMagic or an Ace-Attack Forte, and then, good pedals, good shifter, good handbrake, good seat, that sort of thing. And then our top of the line, which is our Legacy package, this is for like the serious people, the ballers, the people with private collections looking for things. It starts at 30, and that comes with motion, so it starts at a 3 degree of freedom, 45-inch triple, the OLED monitors, 5080 graphics card, top quality, everything. And then we have a package above that, which starts at about 50,
Whoa.
55. Yeah, we're
Oh,
getting up
shit.
there. But that's the 6 degree of freedom unit with all the top line stuff. We go up in monitor size if you want it, and if you could fit it to a 55-inch 4K. Yeah, you don't need that. No one needs that, but some people want it, and we're like, okay, we'll do it. 5090 graphics card. But yeah, our best sellers. Honestly, it's been the Fusion and the Legacy. Those have been the best, but you obviously don't got to do that. You don't got to go turnkey, but if you want to just have the whole package like set in stone, built for you, we'll do that. We've been working, people have hit us up if we could just get them the whole package and they build it themselves, and we could do that and, source you the monitors and PC and that sort of thing. We're just here to help and point people in the right direction with good educated information, because as I said before, we work with different companies, but I've been around the block and it's with companies that I believe in and that I trust. So I'm a big proponent of that, and just try not to give people, try not to sell out in a way, selling out, it's not good. Done it before, learned from that, never do it again. So that's where I'm at with that.
I get that, man.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, how does the shipping of an entire unit work? Like if someone gets a turnkey?
Yeah, so what I do is I build it at the shop, and then we ship it in either 1 or 2 60 by 60 by 60 crates. We package it real nice, we saran it, make sure everything doesn't move in the packaging, and then we even wrap around the outside to make sure nothing gets damaged in shipping. And then we either send you like about 30 minutes worth of videos on how to unpack it and set everything up, or for a little more, and for our like Legacy and above, it's included, but we'll fly out or drive out to your location, set it up for you, teach you how to use it, that sort of thing.
That's wild.
Yeah, so
cool, man.
It's been fun doing it. Like, I really love like giving people the full experience, like not just here's some settings, et cetera, but putting everything together and having a full package, and like using the science I've learned and all that to have something good. And as one-to-one as possible. It's been a blast to definitely to share that with people.
Love that, man.
Yeah.
Well, cool. It seems to be going good for you. And
Yes, sir.
I'm sure we'll get another podcast in with an update and everything. So
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Probably a year from now. We'll
yeah,
do it.
it'll probably be right out of here again. So, well, cool, man. I don't want to hold you up no more. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, of
And,
course. Thanks for having me on.
Go enjoy the rest of the weekend,
Of course,
brother.
you as well.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
What another great episode this week from Brandon Gardner. Learning a lot about some sim stuff. And obviously, if you made it this far, you're one of the OGs of the podcast, or maybe you're a new one. So thank you for sticking around this long. If you did enjoy it or learn anything new out of the episode, I just ask that you consider subscribing and turning on the bell notifications. Maybe you are considering upgrading your sim or getting your first one, and you want to just bite the bullet and get something of good quality and a lot of the stuff that we talked about. Of course, jump over to SimHQ. You can always save 5% off with my code CircleOfDrift. It may not seem like a lot, but a little goes a long way, especially when you're investing in something so important and can develop your skill level so rapidly. But other than that, don't forget we do have merch on the site, circleofdrift.co. And if you're in Connecticut, don't forget to stop by Grid Life Lime Rock.
Staying way up to the ceiling. Trust no bitch, can't catch no feelings. I've been taking long flights from the Bay to Ibiza. Hit home runs, I'm a ball like Jeter. I just want fuck, then I leave her. I'm a young pop star, call the boy Justin Bieber. Got a little money if you want, I can teach her. Whole life a movie, you can watch it in theater.